Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. First and foremost, let me welcome you again to another episode of the program that is the World Today Conversation with Ambassador. I'm Ahmad Al-Muhammadi. I'm the host for this program today. So, ladies and gentlemen, the World Today Conversation with Ambassador is actually as an IKIM brand's new programs that is aimed to provide a platform to discuss a wide range of global issues with ambassadors from various countries who are residing here in Malaysia, especially the issues involve mutual interest between Malaysia and the sending country. So by doing so, we can have a better understanding on the effort by various countries in addressing certain issues and the country's policy. So Alhamdulillah, this afternoon in this program today, we are honored to have His Excellency Mr. Ragai Taufiq Said Nasr, the Ambassador of the Republic of Egypt to Malaysia. So Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, His Excellency, and welcome to IKIM, and thank you for being with us this afternoon.
Thank you very much. In fact, it is my pleasure and honor to be in a profound and prestigious program presented by your good self and by IKIM, and I'm really honored to be with you and with you, all your audience. I hope that I'll give a light interview and to give them whatever information you'd like to know about Egypt and about happening in the Islamic world. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we start our conversation, let me introduce, first of all, His Excellency. He was born in May 1st, 1965. So, Ambassador Nasr grew up mostly in Egyptian capital, Cairo, and he obtained a bachelor degree in economy and political science in 1988 from the University of Cairo. And besides carrying out his ambassadorial duties, the envoy also proud to serve as permanent representative of the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa,
Yes,
COMESA,
yeah.
whose secretariat is in Lusaka. And after completing his university studies, His Excellency Nasr joined the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Egypt in 1989. That marks the beginning of his responsibility in the Foreign Service. So he was dispatched to his first posting in Albania, then Thailand, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Sudan. And his first posting as the ambassador was to Zambia before appointed as the ambassador to Malaysia in November 2001. Ambassador Nasr is married with the two children, son and daughter. Yeah. So congratulations, His Excellency. So maybe to start with, you can share with the audience and the listeners how long that you've been here to Malaysia, and how do you find Malaysia so far?
Well, first of all, thank you very, very much. It seems that you did a lot of good research, which I congratulate you about. Well, I arrived here last year by the end of October, so it's almost 10, 11 months. Mm. I'm very happy to be in Malaysia, really. Either myself or my family, they admire it and they like the living here. The people are always kind, cheerful. Up till now, I went to little places. I hope that the time will come to. I went to visit some places. I visited Penang, Melaka, Pahang lately. So we went around as much as we can, but I found it very good to live in, and I like the people, and I like living here. It's really a very good posting here for myself.
Is this the visit? Is the official visit or the personal visit to these
No,
places?
I always I try to mix between personal leisure and business one. Because when I went to Penang, I met some businessmen there, and we had some talks about how to promote the relations. The same was in Malacca, and the same was in Pahang. I like always to take opportunity to meet officials, and in Pahang we have met the Prime Minister. Still, I have other places to go, which will be a little bit official, and this is the beginning. But doing work and serving also bilateral issues is something very important for me.
Malaysia and Egypt has a long relation, His Excellency.
Of course, yes.
I think it is extended back to When was that, if you could share with us?
Well, it extends back to the 19th century, which most of the people don't maybe realize that our relations are very, very old, very historic. It started with the studying Islam in Al-Azhar, Azhar, which is, we have just celebrated this year the 1000th anniversary of its establishment, one of the oldest in the world. And it started, if we speak about studying, in something like 1838. Sheikh Muhammad Fatani was the first Malaysian who went to study there, and he returned back with a lot of good memories, and it started after that spreading. Relations goes very, very far away, and we are really cherishing that relation.
Yeah, meaning that the relation is beyond government to government relation.
Yes, it's people-like.
People to people.
What I realized, for example, when I came here,
Yeah.
whenever you say Misr, because by the way, you pronounce it the same we pronounce it in Arabic. In Arabic, we call it Misr. It's the same pronunciation. So whenever you say Misr, the first thing that comes to you, and a lot of people, when I met while being in any market or any place, oh, Misr, so Al-Azhar. This is the first link that happened, which is good, you know, that building relation between people is much, much better. It can be much better, of course, by government, but people like, it gives us much more understanding and durability, which is something good. I'm proud of to come in Malaysia to find people who knows Egypt before I tell them from where I am here.
Yeah, because definitely we have a lot of Azhar alumni here in Malaysia, and they have a very, very wonderful memory studying there. I think many VVIPs and also ministers today that serving in the government, even before, they used to study in Azhar University, I think.
You know, we have up till now, I can tell you, 7,000 Malaysians studying in Al-Azhar.
7,000?
7,000.
Okay.
And yearly, more than 2,000 or more go to Egypt to study. What is new, which I like, is that before, till about 7-10 years ago, most of the students or Malaysians going were studying religion. But what was new since 10 years ago, that they started studying civil studies. We have more, among the 7,000, I can tell you we have something like 1,500 or 2,000 Malaysians studying medicine, architecture, and in our universities, computer science, which is a good diversity. This is something that in a lot of private universities in Egypt or in governmental one. So we are entering about 25% or more are studying now other studies beside Islamic one, which is good, which is good trend here.
So before that is focused on the Islamic studies. Right now they are focusing on science-based programs.
Science-based plus Al-Azhar, of course, as a traditional one, which is something good. And by the way, I want to tell you something from our side. You have to be proud here for your very advanced educational system. We have 1,500 Egyptians studying in universities in Malaysia, and I expect maybe by next year to increase. Maybe it will reach like 2,000. Me myself, when they knew that I'm going to Malaysia, a lot of my friends was telling me, okay, we will send you our daughters or sons to study here because you have a very profound and very prestigious and high class educational system, really, that you have to be proud of. This is something I have to mention here. Yeah, so we also come to Malaysia to study.
So the exchange is on both sides.
Yeah.
Yes, that's very good explanation, His Excellency. Now, let us go back to Egypt a little bit. We have seen that in between 2011 until 2022, there is a critical decade in Egypt modern history, which has witnessed two popular revolutions, 2011, 2013. So if we look at the situation right now, what are the economic and societal reform that Egypt has undertaken to ensure the stability and sustainable development for the country?
This is a rightful question. Well, in fact, you know, it is what I can say in the beginning, it is the people will. It was the people of Egypt who have chosen whom to come to govern us in 2022 2011, and the same that after 2 years, 30 million or more of them went to the streets to say, well, stop it, we could not bear it more, this is not the way we have achieved or we have looked for our country to be governed like, you know. It is the same people, it's the same will of the people.
Yes.
People got the same, that government, and the same one they said,
We don't
we
want
found a lot
any
of
more.
problems, we
Yeah.
don't want more, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, these 3 years was difficult economically,
Okay.
socially. Why? Because at that time I was in Egypt. I was there from 2010 till beginning 2014, so I witnessed the 2 revolutions. You can find as an Egyptian, not as an ambassador, there was a problem economically. A lot of shortages in cutting, of electricity. The country was a little bit devastated because there was a lot of protests in the street. Each 1-2 months, people went down to say, enough for that, we don't like this kind of law. So it affected generally the country as a whole. By 2013, after the 30th of May revolution, really the president, and he said it, and this was right, I am a witness of that as an Egyptian, the country needed a lot of reform.
Okay.
A lot of reform. Because all these protests, by the other hand, have stopped the social life.
Yeah.
I mean, the people going to work and you find roads blocked. You find people in the streets. You could not go to finish your own work. It was problems. So it took us something like 3 years, but what the president said, and he was clear from the beginning, he said, look, I will not, you have, as an Egyptian people, you have decided to have another revolution. You decided to change the system, to change the reform.
Yeah.
You have elected me to come, but I want to tell you something.
Yeah.
You have to bear with me. From the beginning, you have to bear with me. We will work together. I will not work by myself. You will be hand in hand with me to rebuild this country. Because we wanted to not to return to 2011, we wanted to make it much more better also than 2011. And we have like 3 years that have been wasted from our economic history or social. So tremendously, a lot of work have been done. Since then, by the people themselves. Firstly, it started by gathering something like $8 billion from the Egyptians themselves, from their own, going to the banks and to build the new Suez Canal.
Suez Canal,
yeah.
okay.
The new canal that is much wider. You have to widen it. You have to. This one was the first mega project, maybe since building the high Aswan Dam. It was the sixth, the biggest in Africa. This is the one like it or much more important than it. It was all by the will of the people. And then after that, we started to enter into how economically we can increase the level of standard. Now, when I just came back last July, I can tell you, when I went there, I found number of bridges and roads
built.
that totally, me myself, it's not a joke. Going back I wanted to go from my home to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I had to take my son to show me the new roads. It was really devastating. Everybody who goes there, any visitor or tourist nowadays, he will tell you this is not the Cairo we have seen before 5 or 6 years. New mega roads, new cities have been done. We have made 4 cities, 4 total new cities in 5 years. We are speaking about 2013, 2022.
So this is all happened after the revolution?
After the 2013 revolution. It was, we had decided to have a very great, big mega cities, mega projects. Much important of them, which started 2013, was the new capital, new administrative capital, which I call it like New Putrajaya, because Putrajaya is very beautiful. I went there and I got the Minister of Foreign Affairs when I was here. He was also fascinated with it. It is 3 times wider than the Putrajaya. It will have the biggest of everything. I mean, compared to Africa at least, the biggest stadium, the biggest medical city.
So if compared with other countries in Africa, that is the biggest.
Oh, that's the biggest. It will have the tallest building, the biggest stadium, the biggest in everything, yeah. Because Cairo, it reached now maybe 20-something million.
20 million in
20
Cairo
million,
alone.
only Cairo, because the total number of Egyptians are 105 now. Have reached 100. So we need a new capital. You need a new administrative capital.
Yeah.
All, the palace of the president, all the ministries, we were supposed to go there 2 years ago, but unfortunately this COVID issue have postponed it. So maybe by the end of this year we are going to try to, all the ministries will go to the new capital city. One of the very important and historic projects also was the new, the biggest world museum.
Yes,
This
in
is
Giza.
In Giza. This is the biggest in the world. It was also supposed to open 2 years ago, but inshallah after by the end of this year.
It is going to be open this year.
Hopefully, or the first quarter of the coming year. Yeah. To be the biggest in the world, all at the plateau of it. Because we have a lot of monuments and architects. And really, whenever, as we have a say, whenever they dig in any street, they find something old here.
I see. That's wonderful. So we are going to take a short break, and we will come back right after this. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and for those people who just joined us, this is the World Today conversation with Ambassador, and here with me is the Ambassador of Egypt, His Excellency Mr. Ragai. So, His Excellency, you were talking about the development that has taken place after the revolution, and there are a lot of things going on in there. Would you talk a little bit more about this development in there?
Of course, thank you very much, and thanks you more for your viewers and the listeners for bearing with me to speak much more. Well, we can take it with some aspects. If we speak about maybe a question will rise that you have just mentioned lately that we are about 100 million.
100 million people.
So after this revolution and building all these mega projects, what are we going? I mean, how are we taking care of the people there and redefining their status? Well, in fact, you know, something like the new administrative city alone, it is attracting or giving new jobs for something like 100,000. This alone, as it is. And alhamdulillah, in the last couple of years, 6 years or something, we have a lot of factories that have been opened in Egypt. Because if you find stability in any country, you will attract investment.
Yes.
If an investor finds that there is a little bit something shaky, he will be hesitant. But after the 2013 revolution and people saw that everything is calming down, people are returning back to work because they liked it, because they wanted to have this change, and they are working from their own hearts. So investment returned speedily. I want to tell you that in the last 3 years, we were the first in Africa to attract investment as a country. And in the Middle East, maybe always not between first and third, which is very important, which gives you an indication that how there is the world companies are finding it suitable to come to work in Egypt. Also among the projects that maybe I forgot to mention is taking care of our coast at the Mediterranean, because this is new. We depend on tourism. We attract something like 25 million per year. And in fact, something that maybe not a lot of people know, that during the COVID, we were among the very few countries in the world that would not close the country. At that time, yes, you could enter Cairo, enter at our Egypt, at any place, or Sharm el-Sheikh, just to present your PCR. And also, if you don't have a PCR, they will undergo it for you at the airport with something like $20.
I see.
And just wait 1 hour, they give you the result. If it's okay, just enter.
Okay.
So we attracted a lot of tourists at that time, a lot, because all the other countries was closed, and maybe Egypt and another 1 or 2 countries in the world was open. Because for us, it's one of the main income in the country. A lot of people, we found that if they will lose their jobs if we close the industry. So in this concern, we have opened a new city called El Alamein, which is on the just in front of France, if you want to get it locally. It is attracting a lot of investment because it's not only a touristic place. No, there is 2 colleges, there are a lot of universities, a lot of projects are going there. So we are working on that, yani, and alhamdulillah, a lot of achievement have been done, and we are going on that track. Yeah.
So meaning that the development is taking place at the Mediterranean coast, facing
Also, yes.
facing France.
Yes, because we have already Sharm el-Sheikh,
Yes.
which is a well-known touristic place, which we are going to speak later, of course. Which we are going there. We are going to host the COP27.
Okay.
This is well known.
Yes.
In fact, they have like Langkawi here, for example.
Yes.
Charter flights only to it.
Yes.
So we wanted to open other cities on the Mediterranean coast because the weather is much better, and I mean there's another kind of attractions there. Yeah.
So how about the investment in human capital, His Excellency? Is there anything that the Egyptian has undertaken? Human capital, like maybe in terms of education, in terms of research, in terms of building expertise?
This is a very good question. You know, we had a new phase like 5 years ago. We started thinking to encourage the businessmen and the private sector to open their own schools and universities, much more than are now. And in fact, also for governmental universities and schools, it's open to the private business to encourage and increase its utilities inside them. So a lot of schools and a lot of universities have been opened, and this is one side. Also, the other side, we are now encouraging people, not only to study medicine, politics, businessman. Why don't you be a good carpenter, a good other practical fields that needed? Because I'm telling you, the new administrative city is attracting thousands and thousands. So now we want much more people who have knowledge, not only in technology or whatever, but also handwork, but skilled. So these skillful human resources we have been now taking care of, and a lot of universities have been built there. And we have doubled or tripled the number of students traveling abroad to study in other universities, including Malaysia, of course.
Including in Malaysia.
Yeah, of course. We have 1,000 to 400, and hopefully it will increase. Yeah.
Okay, yes, that is, I think there's a very huge development, a huge change after the revolution, and a very, very positive development in that. Now let us change to another aspect of the discussion, that is on the climate change and the Egypt's strategy. So I think this year, Egypt will be hosting UN Climate Change Conference, COP 2027, in Sharm el-Sheikh, as you said, in November. So like many other countries, Egypt also faces challenge of climate change. So what are some Egypt climate change strategy?
Well, this is a very important question. Let us first of all to say what is this coming event. Yeah. This coming event is once yearly. All leaders of the world, they gather together to discuss this really urgent matter that all our countries are facing. Egypt, Malaysia, United States, all over the world. We are facing the same problems in change of weather,
that's true.
Which is affecting economically, affecting the living of the people. It will be held this year in Sharm el-Sheikh on from 6th to 8th of November. And may I share with you an information that our president have presented an official invitation to the Honorable Prime Minister to visit Egypt to represent Malaysia. And hopefully, inshallah, we have up till now positive indications that we hope, inshallah, that we'll be able to travel with a big delegation there. For Egypt, one of the challenges that we have been witnessing is that the rise of temperature have increased the level of water in the Mediterranean.
I see.
So they expect after 30, 40 years, it will affect the level of Alexandria. Alexandria is the second largest city and is exactly under the Mediterranean. So it will affect the shores, it will affect the some of the inlands, and that's why we started from now taking action. We started long ago, but we have intensified now to re-establish new wave breakers, to open new cities, one of which, like the new administrative city, it is one of the aims to attract people. And something else, we are living, maybe people will be surprised, all this 100 million and all what you hear about the pharaohic civilization long ago, 7,000 years, it was all on the Nile, because we are not blessed with rain like here in Malaysia. We only depend 99% on the Nile. So all the 100 million are concentrated by the Nile, which is only 15% of the country. The rest are desert.
I see.
So we started, and we have opened already last year, the year before, and we are opening a new mega project in the coming year, having new green areas outside Cairo, outside the Nile, away from it, to attract new people, to have new settlements. We have opened 4 with thousands of hectares, and another one will be opened next year also, because climatic changes is affecting it will affect the flow of the water. It will affect the irrigation. So we said we have to start long ago. We will not wait for that. We have opened 5 projects, and still the 6th will be next year, inshallah.
So, meaning that it's creating a new city in the middle of the desert.
Yes. This is the aim. The aim, or the slogan that we are now having in Egypt, is try to go outside the Nile. We have to have people to go beyond or away the right and the left of the Nile itself. We, beside these settlements, we are going to open 2 cities. With factories, with universities, to have new living outside the Nile.
But what are the activities of the people in that? Meaning that whenever we open up a new cities in the middle of the desert, let's say, if they are in the by the river, they can do a lot of activity. But how about in that?
This is what the challenge that right a bit that about when they started rebuilding or establishing these cities. That you need your children to go to school, you need health, you need activities, you need cinemas, you need whatever. So this is like they said, okay, we will have a total built city from A to Z. Everything will be there. Okay, you don't need to go to Cairo each time, or to your own city, the old one, to finish your own business, or whether the government will be there. I mean, the governmental offices will be open there. So as you can live, and they will have their own broadcasting services, television. It's a total new city by its own. And to give an example, that's why we are going to move all the ministries to the new capital city. This is the beginning. To give an example, we already have transferred to a new capital. So also you can do it in other cities away from your own old capital.
So definitely it's not agricultural, definitely. It is more on the government services, I would say, and all other activities, governmental activities.
Governmental activities, but beside it, it's, okay, listen again. It's like it will be a city with all the activities you can live as a family.
Okay.
But beside each city, by law, it has to have 4 or 5 times its size agricultural area and attracting factors, because you have to have your own food there, not depending on the old agricultural lands, which we expect after 30, 40 years to start diminishing. We have to have new agricultural lands.
This is, ladies and gentlemen, this is very interesting and very smart strategy on the part of Egypt, that is to open up a new place, a new settlement outside Cairo, and also beyond than the Nile rivers. So we are going to take another short break and keep tuning in to our program, and we will be right back after the break. So welcome back to this program that is the World Today Conversation with Ambassador, and here with me is the Ambassador of Egypt, His Excellency Mr. Ragai Tawfiq Said Nasr. So His Excellency, right now, I mean, just now we were talking about a lot of what's going on in Egypt in terms of development and so on. Now let us come back to Malaysia and look at the bilateral relation. Because we have, as you said, a very long history and very historic relations, maybe dated back to before the pre-independence era. So, what is your, as an ambassador of Egypt here in Malaysia, what is your hope and expectation of this bilateral relations in future?
Well, first of all, as I said, I was very happy to come here and to find that the relations are really, alhamdulillah, especially lately, are flourishing. We can speak in more educational-wise. We have, alhamdulillah, 7,000 Malaysian brothers and sisters studying in Egypt, and we have Egyptians studying here in your prestigious universities. Political-wise, it took a very important step, returning back to 2021, when the previous Prime Minister, he had a phone call with our President in June 21. And it opened a lot of gates, because at that time, you know, it was COVID, he could not travel, so they had a phone call together. It was very important, and they gave guidance to both governments, both ambassadors, to work closely to increase the relations. After which, the first impact of that was the visit of, at that time, the Foreign Minister Hishamuddin. He was a foreign minister. He visited Egypt in July 2021, met our president, met our foreign minister and a lot of ministers there, and really it opened a lot of gates. It was followed mainly, if I can say, some important stopovers. It was the first consultation mechanism was held in January 22 by both foreign ministers, and it culminated by the visit of our foreign minister in March 22. In fact, it was the first or the second visit, high dignity visit to Malaysia after the visit of the American foreign minister. And it was very important. It was just after opening the country. It was the first one after COVID here in Malaysia. And it was really very important. And it was looked over. He met the Honorable Prime Minister and the Senior Minister of Defense, Foreign Affairs and Industry. And he had with him an invitation to the Honorable Prime Minister to visit Egypt. And it was really a very important visit. We have in our pipelines other visits going, but let us put it aside till we, inshallah, it will come in, it will happen in the coming months. And we are preparing for the joint committee headed by both foreign ministers. We are deciding the dates, and maybe inshallah in the coming months it will be held in Cairo.
Yeah.
As for trade, I'm not so happy with it, because really our resources can and capabilities can make more, but up till now it is something like 1.5 million low. We have to encourage, but better than before. Before it was only 500,000, so it's like triple time. In only 2 years, it was tripled. And maybe inshallah.
And
it will be
why
much
is that? Why, I mean, before it was, is it because of COVID or because
It
of...
was because of COVID, and maybe this is what I'm working on now, getting people together. If you don't get businessmen to know each other, to
okay.
travel,
Yeah.
to meet each other, it is a problem. I am overcoming this problem by webinars and seminars. Up till now, we have concluded in the embassy 5 webinars
Yeah.
with officials from businessmen in Egypt and businessmen and the officials from the Ministry of Trade in Egypt. So to overcome at that time the event. And we have another 2 webinars coming also. There is expected to be a businessman delegation traveling to Egypt, inshallah, first quarter of the coming year, from Malaysia to Egypt. We have also we have just finished returning back to religious affairs, a special training for
Yes.
imams from Malaysia. They just returned last week. It was especially for 15 imams from Malaysia here, and inshallah others will come. I can tell you also that we have 7 imams of Al-Azhar in Malaysia here. 2 in Kuala Lumpur and 3 in Kedah and Terengganu and Kelantan. We have a lot of
At the moment?
at the moment, yes. We
Mashallah.
have 7 imams coming, and inshallah we are willing to increase it also.
So meaning that from here last week, they went there for a training in
For a
Azhar
training,
University.
yes. There was a wonderful and fruitful meeting between Samahat al-Mufti Luqman, who is a good friend, and the Mufti of Egypt, Shawi Allam. And they discussed at that time, about 1 month ago, that he was attending, Mufti Luqman, Samahat al-Mufti was attending a conference in Egypt, because we are always keen, whenever we have any event, to invite al-Mufti and Minister of Religious Affairs to go. And at that time, he met our Grand Mufti, and he had an idea of why don't Egypt host a training course for the Malaysian imams and people of Ifta, and alhamdulillah, at once, our Mufti agreed and had. I want to ask something very important. Before coming here,
Yeah.
I met the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, Sheikh Ahmad al-Tayyib.
Okay.
A courtesy call before coming to Malaysia. And we spoke, of course, about also trying to increase the number of scholarships giving from Egypt to Malaysia.
Yes.
And he told me, and I quote literally,
Yeah.
he told me, look, Ambassador, I want to tell you that I consider the Malaysian students
Yeah.
to be the best students we have in Egypt.
Mashallah.
And we are proud of the Malaysian students. They are very clever, very careful. They are abiding by all the regularities, and they are one of the best students. In fact, he told me, whenever you meet from Malaysian officials, send them my regards.
Mashallah.
And inshallah, one day, Malaysia is in my heart, and one day, inshallah, he will come here to visit Malaysia. It is in his plans that he wants to come here because he went before to Indonesia. He went lately he was in Kazakhstan. He went to all over the world, Brunei, Singapore. But inshallah,
He will come here.
He will come here, and we are inshallah we work together to achieve this important visit. So you have a heart. Felting memories in the heart of the Sheikh Al-Azhar. And he told me, whomever you meet in Malaysia, give him my regards. I like the Malaysian students, I like Malaysian people, and I'm coming one day here, inshallah.
Yeah, mashallah. So beside, as you said, we have a relation in terms of G2G and education. What are the other things that you are planning to do in terms of maybe increasing the number of students from here to Egypt?
This is one of my plans. and to diversify it, because I was happy that it's not only studying religion, but it's also studying other fields, technology and medicine and so on. So other things also to attract more Malaysians to visit Egypt as tourists.
Right, right.
Either Muslim or non-Muslim. Muslims are also Shafi'ites, so where the Imam Shafi'i is buried is in Egypt, so it's one of the most important places to go. And I expect, inshallah, we will have in the coming months some more concentrated plans to attract Malaysian visitors to come to visit Egypt as tourists. And business relations is one of the important keys I'm working on nowadays, and I'm working on that, and I'm working on a visit of the coming ministers to come to the Malaysian minister to come to visit Egypt, inshallah.
Beside education, I mean, tourism is another thing, is another the point of attraction for Malaysian to go to Egypt. What are the new things that you can say, you can talk about when it comes to tourist attraction? Because I heard that they would open the Great Museum of Giza,
Yes.
and then they have the train in there, the highways, and also the new cities of Alamin. Can you talk a little bit about the tourist attraction in there? So that
We are now not only we have opened lately 3 new world museums. Beside the biggest
three world museums.
Yes.
Okay.
Beside the biggest one, which will be the biggest in the world, which will be on the plateau of Giza, the plateau of the pyramids. It will be the biggest in the world. Because maybe, of course, I'm sure you know, and some of your audiences, that we have a saying in Egypt: whenever you dig under anything, you have very old artifacts. We have a lot of discoveries that we find, and the museum that was built, the old one that we have, was built in 1904. So a lot of things have to be put in a much better way. So this will be in the World Museum. But something new that we had is not only to concentrate on old artifacts. We have something called civilization museums. We have one we have opened it in Cairo. One will be opened in the new capital city, which has like all the histories, thematic ones, Islamic ones, or agricultural ones, or whatever, thematic from the beginning of history up till now. These are very good way of attraction. We are finishing in 2 years the longest train in Africa. It will be from Hurghada, which is on the south tip of Egypt, on the Red Sea, on the right, up till the Mediterranean, on the most to Alamein. It will be the longest and the longest one. And a lot of fancy cities we are going to build. In fact, we hope, inshallah, within the coming year or maximum the one after, we are going to open a lot of attractions, and it will be a wide variety, not only to see old Islamic or religious ones, you can see other wide range of attractions, and hopefully our brothers and sisters from Malaysia will come to enjoy it here.
Yeah, definitely. I believe that it is, should be, one of the tourist attraction, given the stability of Egypt right now that they have achieved. And I read the report recently, the World International Monetary Fund predicting the massive growth of economic of Egypt in the coming years. And I think that it's a very good sign. And we also can see that the pandemic is already over, and then we can the travelers can move back and forth between Egypt to Malaysia and Malaysia to Egypt. And I think this is all very good sign. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching the end of our session this afternoon. With that, I would like to thank His Excellency, Mr. Ragai Taufik, Said Nasr, the Ambassador of the Republic of Egypt to Malaysia, for being with us today and for sharing your views in our program today. So I also would like to thank you, the producer, Hajah Mazlina, Ismail, and to our technical team. And thank you very much to all listeners. And with that, hopefully we have opportunity to see each other again in another episode. And for your information, ladies and gentlemen, this is the World Today, the conversation with Ambassador. We are going to have this regular conversation with ambassadors from around the world today. So again, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.